it's an interesting space at the moment that we're in as a people. You know, people may think to themselves when they hear me on this podcast or in life, why are you always talking about race and racism and stuff like this? And I'm like, well, because we've been through a lot of it, and I've been through a lot of it personally. So maybe for me, the magnifying glass is on that, and I see it every day in our everyday life. I see a lot of issues and clashes with the races, and I think it's because something my friend was saying the other day. There's so many powerful cultures and communities living in tight spaces in East London or any part of the world. You know, we're all together, and you're gonna have issues sometimes. You know, like I come from East London, where we've got the Asian Bangladeshi community there, we've got the blacks, African Caribbean, we've got the whites, and over the last 10 years we've got the Europeans, and there's other communities there as well. You know, so with all that, you're gonna have issues. So
even when you don't even want it to be about race, somehow race comes into
it's there. It's
always in the fabric of everything.
Yeah, and we should be talking about it. You know, we should be raising awareness to what's going on and how we're getting along as a people, how we're getting on, how humanity's progressing or not progressing. We should, and we're going to have differences of opinion, which is fine. We should be able to communicate how we feel, and if we don't, who will?
Unapologetically as well,
Yeah.
without the fear of like the public court coming and saying, hey, you're this and you're that.
Yeah, no,
like,
most definitely.
Why can't I say how I feel without it being shunned? Like, isn't there a space for a conversation here?
Yeah, and if we're gonna have things like what the Met Police and the white racist police officers do to young black kids happening, then we're gonna have to come and speak unapologetically. We can't be worrying about what people feel, because we're under attack. We've been under attack in different ways. We can't access opportunities. We can't access certain workspaces, or there's a lot going on. You know, there's a lot of prejudice, discrimination, and we have to talk about it. So I think because of all the things I used to go through in my younger days, and the things I used to study behind closed doors when it comes to racism or our history, it led me to be a bit more proactive in our struggle and get out there and do whatever I thought I could. And that was usually protesting, going to marches, linking up with people who were fighting our cause. And then one day it just hit me. I think they must have killed Edson, a young black youth in Beckton, or they killed Rashid, a young black youth in Hackney. And I said,
so this is in your day, yeah?
I mean, this is like a couple of years ago. You know, and they killed Mark Duggan, obviously, and we know about that. And I used to hang around with a lot of people from Tottenham, so I managed to link up with Mark a few times, been to his house, and chilled. Big up all the man that they know who they are. So these things were just impacting me personally, because I've either spent time with people or maybe not, like the Edson and the Rashids, but they're young black youths. These could have happened to me, this could have been me, or this could have been one of my friends, or in years to come, this could have been one of our offspring. So I got to a place probably about 4 or 5 years ago where I said to myself, we're not protesting anymore. When a young black youth gets killed by law enforcement, you know, let's call them racist white officers, I'm done with that. I'm ready for war. Like, I'm at the place where I don't want to do no more talking if people ain't talking. You will not kill my son in these streets of London, believe me. I won't be on it.
It's terrorism.
Of course it is. And if it was like back in slavery days, I'm like the most rebellious. Like, I'd be the one always getting licks all the time, continuously. Come back to you, like, you'd be like, what happened again? Like, yeah, they done me again, look. Got 20 lashes because I slapped the slave master in his face. Yeah, like, I'd be on smoke.
But can we be honest? It's the language they understand. It's not the best way, we don't want to be doing that, but it's the only language you seem to wake up to. Like, these guys are on violence now.
No, Roachee, you've got to find something here, because I've got to put this out. I've got to put this out.
Yeah,
it is the language they
I've
understand.
had enough, man. Like, we can't. I don't understand how we've accepted some of the things we have. Like, when I studied slavery, I'm like, how the hell did this go on for so long? And I respect that the fact that it was a difficult time for black people. You know, it was very, very tough because of the way the Europeans had them. You know, the way the whole journey just seems crazy. And to think about a black man have to sit there and hear or see his wife be raped, or his kids be raped or whipped or lashed in front of them, and just wanna, you know, outright kill one of them or attack, but think, I need to see tomorrow. I need to make sure that I can stay here with my children and my wife to make sure I'm overseeing the situation and make sure there's not more brutality happening. That balance, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Like, I don't know. In those days, I'll just get lynched because I'll just do a mad thing, and my poor family wouldn't be able to see me on the plantation anymore. So I think about these things.
Like that, you know, that level of responsibility. Do I stay alive, or do I just do I win this war right now?
Crazy.
Do I win the?
And just Friday, I was in a this is like at work. I'm on a level 3 advice and guidance training, and the man who's delivering the course was speaking about how you could give advice and guidance in to different groups, and he spoke about the Jim Crow era. I don't know how he got onto it, but he was talking about how they were communicating messages in those days. And one of the young people was there, as a young black guy. He said, because in the 60s, they was not, you know, they was outright saying you couldn't use certain you couldn't come to certain schools or access certain bars or whatever in America, and they were lynching people. And one of the young people was like, in the 60s, and was like, and he was like, that's not long ago. Like, my nan was alive, or his dad was alive, or whoever was alive then. And he didn't realize how close it was, and I'm like, bro, this was the other day, man. Like,
still today,
still happening today. Like, this is not. So sometimes we think about freedom and that, and a lot of us are like, we're not free yet. We're not free yet. We've got a long way to go until we're free. You know. So I think the Battle of Trafalgar was lovely for someone like me, who was out there on the front line, ready to battle, because we've had enough. You're not going to come down from all parts of the UK to fight and attack black people that are there protesting. We will fight, and we will have it, and we'll stick up for our people, you know, our women, our children who want to just peacefully protest about what's going on, and Yobs want to come and start fighting.
But it's interesting the way they played that out in that narrative, because they didn't play out the fight, well, they kind of did, but the way they had, what's his name? The guy who put the guy on his shoulders, that was the story. Because they didn't want to show them. They didn't want to show them losing. They didn't.
That was a sad day. That was a sad day for them.
Yeah. So they had to show something else. Like, it was a weird one. I was thinking, why did they play that?
Yeah.
Out of everything.
No, like the same white man, innit?
Before the troops rolled up and got there, there was only a small group of people of colour there who were under attack. Bottles, you know, there was like big up Mega Man, Foods, and a few other man, Respect. They were there very early on in the day when a lot of different groups came from different areas and were just flinging bottles, you know, and people were just, you know, just in a little space. And then as the day started continuing, like progressing, loads and loads more people come down, and like the Yobs weren't nowhere to be seen.